This is a Dalarna University production.
Good morning and welcome. My name is Loretta Qwarnström and I am Director of Studies in the English Department. Today it is my pleasure to present Jérôme-Frédéric Josserand, Assistant Professor in French. Welcome, Jérôme.
Thank you.
Who is Jérôme-Frédéric Josserand?
Well, I'm French. I was born in Grenoble and I grew up there as well as in Villard-de-Lans, a ski resort, which is located approximately 20 miles from Grenoble. And I've been living in Sweden the last 20 years, first on the west coast in Gothenburg and then in Uppsala.
Reading through your very impressive academic qualifications, I sense that you're a person with a great passion for languages. You've studied Arabic, English, Italian, Catalan, and of course French. In addition, you have a BA in French, Italian, and Oriental Studies. What influenced you to study these particular languages?
I've always loved languages, and because for me it was a way out. And languages, they give you so much in terms of understanding other cultures, other way of thinking, other people, and it's so rewarding to be able to talk and communicate with someone else in another language. So, that's something that has always been fond of, but the choice of this language is the hazard of life, I would say.
So there was no specific reason you chose these languages?
No particular. I would like to speak every language. I would like to speak Russian, Chinese, and Japanese. So, I started with some of them.
Okay. So you've started with Japanese or Chinese?
No. I've started with some languages
Absolutely. And you now teach French up to graduate level. Are there any courses that you would like to develop?
We have a lot of courses already, but we are starting new courses. The next one will be a course on literature for children, and then we are planning a course on French through comic books, and that's the next one. But we've got already a lot of courses available, and that anyone can take and study at our university.
So if I was a student and I wanted to study French at Högskolan Dalarna, could I study for a BA in French?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. And we are now preparing for a MA, a Master of Arts as well. So from next year, I think it would be...
So I could study my Masters at Högskolan Dalarna as well? Great. Maybe that might be a path for me. So what are your goals then for the French faculty? Because you are head of French and you're a dynamic department and have developed greatly in the past few years. We've heard that you, of course, are applying for masters in French, the right to issue a master's. But what are there any other goals for the French department?
Yeah, the first goal is to keep up the good work and the good standard that we've reached in our courses. Then another goal is to continue on the path that we've taken with the French-speaking world, because I don't like to have the focus on France, and because the French language is spoken in Africa, Canada, and other parts of the world. So we've got this profile, and we are cooperating with the Department of History on a course given within African Studies. We are part of the project of post-colonialism, and that's a way to promote not only the French spoken in France, but the French as a culture and French as culture and language in other parts of the world. And that's our profile, and we are going on to continue on that path.
So you're coming away from the centre.
Yeah. And the third goal is to develop special courses for special purposes. And we've got a competence to teach French for medical purposes, economic or law. And we are trying to make and prepare courses for companies or other official departments or institutions that would need special courses for special demands and purposes. That's our third goal.
And in today's globalized world, it would benefit many professions.
Yeah, of course, because we often hear that the world is getting closer, but it tends to be closer often in a superficial way. And you need to have languages, other languages than English. English, I love it, but it's not enough. And many companies around Europe are experiencing that right now. So we need not only French, but other languages than English. And we are planning and working toward this goal.
Another interesting aspect of the French department and your teaching specifically is that you teach in school as well. There is some sort of agreement between the university and a school in Uppsala.
Yes, we've got an agreement with the Cathedral School in Uppsala when the pupils of the last year taking their studenten, baccalaureate, they are taking a course that we give, a university course that we give, and this is very fun. It's very rewarding, and these pupils are very good, and they've got a very high level of languages right now. Language right now.
I think that's a very exciting cooperation.
Oh yeah, and that's a good way of recruiting the next students as well.
Absolutely. I listened to one of your lectures on French film a while ago, which I found very inspirational and, of course, very educational. And you have this very in-depth knowledge regarding film in France. Is this a hobby? Is this a research interest, or
both? I was in a movie school in France for a while. And I've got this passion for movies, not only French movie, but movies in general. And when you use movies into education, it's very funny, it's very rewarding. You've got a lot of things to do. You can do a lot of things with that, with the language, with the culture, with many things. And we do that. We've got a course called From the Novel to the Movie. And in Uppsala, with that school, I use movies as well into the course. So it's interest and a very good way of teaching language.
Who's your favorite director then?
My favorite director?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many of them. But in France, I like Truffaut very much. Well, he's dead. He's dead, of course, but I like his movies.
I remember when I was a teenager that as soon as a new Truffaut film emerged on the market, I rushed to see his films because he often used the actor Gérard Depardieu. He was the one using Depardieu in the beginning of Depardieu's career. Yeah. And he made one of them, Le Dernier Métro, is one of the best movies that Depardieu has made, and that was with Truffaut. Yeah. You're also a television star, I could say. You were involved in a program, an educational program that is sent nationally called I Love Språk, which is I Love Languages. What did you talk about on the program? What was the theme?
I talked about the language used in the French in the suburbs in France, especially around Paris, called verlan, which means you put the syllables, you change the syllables, and It's a way of playing with language. It's a code, a marker of identity for these groups of young people. And this is something that I'm very interested in, and I would like to make some research as well on that. Yeah.
Can you give us an example of Verlan?
Verlan means back, forth. And if you said something like, paper, per pay.
Okay.
So you switch the syllables.
Okay.
And, my generation did as well. But this language has experienced a renaissance in the 90s with the rap and hip-hop, which are music very popular in the suburbs in France.
Okay.
So, and that's very funny to listen at. Very difficult, even for a Frenchman.
That sounds extremely interesting.
Yeah, it's fun, yeah.
So, what research interests are you pursuing at the moment, or would you hope to pursue? I've heard now that you'd like to research more into the slang of Verlan, but is there anything?
Well, I wrote my PhD on language contact and language death, and that's something that I'm still interested in. But I would like as well to look at the use of the language of sports into politics, something that a guy like Berlusconi masters perfectly, of course for populistic goals. And I would like to look at the French politic and how the politicians there use it or not in their political discourses. That's one thing, and then this suburban, language is another thing that I would like to do. And now I'm involved in this post-colonialism program, and I will look at the way that the French school uses writers coming from outside of France, because France, when it comes to literature, is very egocentric and very Parisian, and it's very difficult for writers outside of France to be published in France often. And I'm looking at that because there's this debate on the responsibility of colonialism, and I would like to look at what the school does to take these writers into the education.
That sounds very interesting.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for answering.
Thank you.
And having the time to speak with me today.
Yeah,
So
thank you very
much.
Thanks.